All right, and let's see. All right,
we gotta check our levels. Hold on.
Got to check our we got to check our levels. We're noticing that we're having a little bit of a difference in the audio here between the videos, between each of us talking. You know, obviously we have different mics. We're working with different equipment, but we are really happy to have everybody who wants to come in
now
and joining us.
And let's see what it sounds like.
All right, bear with us.
That sounds pretty good.
All right, yeah, okay, we're good, everybody.
Why did it sound like shit last night?
I'm telling you, I'm not sure. Maybe it was Periscope, maybe it was something or another. But the big thing that we got to figure out is the whole audio with the videos, because my sister keeps telling me that we sound a little bit fucked up when it comes to that. But we are very happy to be back on live, bringing you some hard-hitting stories.
Hard-hitting dogs.
Yeah, we got some stuff. We have some good left-wing news to lead off everything.
Dude, for real. Right?
Like, I mean, as far as shit goes, I mean, I know you are unabashedly anti-CIA, and this was one of the big things.
Everybody is. They're the bad guys.
Yeah, but you in particular, I know this had to make you happy to see. Which is here we go. Bolivia's movement towards socialism party is slated to win the presidency with a higher vote share than when Evo Morales won in 2019. We actually absolutely love to see it. Now, for everybody that doesn't know, there was a right-wing coup in Bolivia that overthrew Evo Morales and sent his ass out of the country, even though he got elected. It was there was a I think there was a little bit of a divide in Twitter circles. I mean, because you saw like someone like David Pacman saying, "No, it's not a coup. This is not a coup."
Yeah. No, it was so obviously a coup.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and like Bernie, at least, he had the decency to call it out for what it was, which was a coup.
Yeah, and it was one of the only ones too. It was like Bernie and the squad. Like everybody else was just like repeating the CIA line about irregularities and like extending his term and like just.
And here's another individual that was an individual who was disappointed by last night's results, which Elon Musk. Did he post anything today? I didn't see, unless he was just throwing out his billionaire tears. But it wasn't I wanted to read this because it was pretty classic now. It wasn't in the best interest of the people. The U.S. government organizing a coup against Evo Morales in Bolivia so you could obtain lithium there. And Elon Musk replying, "We will coup whoever we want. Deal with it." He is much more a Lex Luthor than a Tony Stark, unfortunately.
No, he hasn't posted anything since the 16th.
Yeah, and it was a blowout. It wasn't even close. He won by an even higher margin. Yeah. It was Luis Arce, right? I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Yeah. There was a movement. The party is called the Movement Towards Socialism, and it was a landslide, 65.3% in the capital.
Damn, bro. Yeah, man.
So in a lot of ways, Evo was vindicated.
Yeah.
And I think it's in the end. I think it's for the better. When you look at the impact that his party was having, it's quite a difference. And you can see the disappointment all over Elon Musk's face. I mean, obviously, this was a live look. Because he couldn't get his hands on Bolivia's lithium. Poor billionaire.
I mean, the thing is, I don't think they ever actually did a deal though. Like, because I was checking, to see, because
Mm-hmm.
Anya's, when she took power, she took those loans from the World Bank, right? She like got in bed with the Western capital, but
Right.
like she didn't actually like do a deal with anybody to export the shit. I don't think,
I'm not
and
sure, but I'm pretty sure that's why the U.S. backed it in the first place. But I mean, here we go from the Gravel Institute.
well, there was a German company.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm not, me, I hate the CIA the most, but from what we know, a German company had most of the rights. So I don't know if that's still the CIA or if they're just doing it for Germany or what.
Well,
But
let me actually. We have a CIA correspondent that I'm gonna go to in a couple minutes here, but I wanted to read this from the Gravel Institute. The socialists appear to have won in Bolivia. Evo Morales is coming back, and that is wonderful. Socialism wins. Social democracy manages to win. It is there's a reason why FDR was elected 4 times in a row. Um, and
because
now
he was, oh, dude,
the
do you want
only
to see the
way.
hot take though?
Yeah. So let's go
The,
to. I think we should go to our CIA
the,
correspondent really fast though. What do you think, bro?
well,
There's a live look at the CIA headquarters.
um,
So here we go.
All right, this is it, people. Let's move. Let's go, 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 go.
what are they doing?
All right, this is it.
Yeah, obviously they're eager to verify the results and let this whole result stand right for the socialists.
But like the whole thing is they keep saying, they the socialists are so evil, they don't respect human rights, blah blah blah. Like,
Uh huh.
and if that was the case, like, what did the fascists do when they couped last year? They
Yep.
immediately started like beating and murdering indigenous people and protesters and like members
E-
of the Socialist Party. Like, I don't know if
Exactly.
you saw, there was a tweet going around where that woman last year who was like, they dumped the red paint on her and like dragged her through town.
Yeah,
She was
it
elected
was
to the Bolivian
horrible. I
Senate
mean, people
today.
are fucking kidding me. Look at this. So the movement, like movement towards Socialist Party here, was the candidate Luisa Arce. He addressed the country after the exit polls announced him as the winner, which democracy has won. Was the word from him. Democracy has won. Um,
Um, FDR's New Deal coalition would probably today. Hold on, let me send you this. Well, never mind. We'll do this hot take about FDR being a national conservative fascist later on
well, we have
in the
a
post
we
show.
will be addressing history segments later in this week, so make sure you tune in. Every Thursday we have a history segment, and we go and talk about history. It's history time.
Um,
Only unelectables will get that joke.
yeah.
But here we go. Here was the reaction from Evo Morales.
Yeah, dude.
Yep,
I wonder
he's a
what's
very
gonna
happy
happen.
man. He was in exile in Argentina. Can't be in his own country because of this
I
shit.
mean, this was kind of surprising, right? Do you think it's just like Trump is too weak to execute the plan, and he allowed them to win?
I have
Like,
no idea, man. I mean,
why would this happen? Why would the CIA let this happen?
maybe they're
It's
preoccupied
just
with too
such a
much other bullshit.
refutation. What?
Maybe they're preoccupied with other bullshit. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I think that boils down to like Trump is just too weak to do it, right? Like he has to get the plan and then do it, right? Like he can't
Yep.
like we saw like with his like the little bay of piglets, like he is not the kind of like presidential figure that can put together the kind of operators to pull it off, right? Like I think
Right.
so much power is in the presidency. The president is the one who does shit like that, right? Think about like how our foreign policy works. Like they don't go to Congress and get, permission to go do that shit. The president just puts it together and does it. And you think that guy's gonna fucking plan a coup? especially not such a complex one like that.
I mean, and you have to think, like, in this state where the country is, I mean, we're in a weakened state because of COVID too.
They've been accelerating all of their confrontations, though. Like Pompeo's a psycho. Like
Yeah.
they like steeped up the sanctions on Venezuela and Iran. They got chillier with North Korea again. They, the,
No,
they're
absolutely.
like fight.
Well,
they
either
just
way,
don't have the metal to actually,
right?
you
Maybe pull off something like that to prevent something. I mean, they have to be doing that because if you go and implement socialist policies, they're popular. What are you gonna
do? They can't stand it. But like I said, they had to do they're just gotten so brazen and so like uncompromising, in the last since 2008 or so. I mean, they've always been that way, but they've just gotten more so. It's like now they're not willing to give an inch. They take whatever they can get.
Yeah, see, from here it says immediately after last year's right-wing coup in Bolivia, U.S. elites, including many liberals, celebrate or excuse.
Most liberals.
Yeah, most liberals, and I think Elon Musk falls in that category. By the way, liberals.
Well, like Elizabeth Warren does.
You own
they
him
all
too.
Like,
you own
Elizabeth Warren was
this coup.
Like every other candidate.
Yesterday's
led.
Yes.
They had they put out the campaign talking points from the DNC. They all Mayor Pete, Joe Biden, Bloomberg, everybody else who was in the race at the time. They all put out the exact boilerplate CIA line about free and fair elections and irregularities and whatever strongman authoritarian. And then Warren put out something that was basically a slightly reworded version of the same thing, and then Bernie was the only one who was like, that looks like a coup.
Yep.
And even Bernie was hesitant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from here, November 10th, 2019 was the day of celebration in the citadels of U.S. punditry when Evo Morales was gone. Populist dragon had been slain. No longer would the pink tide stalk their imaginations. The U.S. right, veterans of defining democracy as its opposite, hailed the coup against Morales as a popular victory. The Wall Street Journal, a democratic breakout in Bolivia. The Trump administration praised the military for abiding its oath to protect not just a single person, but Bolivia's constitution. This was the reaction at the time from right wing, or from not. No, okay, you know what?
From everybody.
No,
from everyone.
From the entire establishment, the entire political establishment, not just right, not just supposed left on with the Democrats. It was both. This was bipartisan support of a coup against a socialist leader in Bolivia. That's what it was, and it was outright denial. You were ostracized. You were criticized. This was a detriment to you if you called it a coup. Yeah. So when people want to go,
people were, man.
I mean, so when people want to go and say and criticize Bernie or AOC or any of these, but make sure to take note who were the people that said this was a coup.
The left, the only ones.
That's it.
Not even the whole left either.
No, not even the whole left. But
I mean, there was the term limit thing, right? Which does. It's on its face, it's yeah, that does seem kind of sus, right? But then when you see it's the Supreme Court ruled, right? We would respect our own Supreme Court's ruling. Why wouldn't we, respect theirs?
Exactly. And again, what the hell are we doing intervening in Bolivia anyway?
Yeah, well, the count was definitely not suspicious. Is the other thing,
no. And if anything, what this giant victory that happened does is point more towards that.
That's the other thing too. Yeah, it proves they were screwed over last year, and all those people that died, all the turmoil that went through this year. They basically been launching a genocide against the indigenous people, right? They've been forcing them out of the cities and just brutalizing the protesters. So all that happened, and
so you can
barely even admitting they were wrong.
Yeah, I wanted to go to this tweet too, just because I had bookmarked it. So from the Associated Press, Bolivia appears to be shifting away from the conservative policies of the U.S.-backed government that took power last year after leftist President Evo Morales resigned and fled the country. His party is claiming victory in this weekend's presidential
What
vote.
the hell kind of headline is that?
Resigned. So here you go. My at Bernie would have won. Had the right take here, I think. Resigned. It was a U.S.-backed coup, but we already know why the established media isn't allowed to say it.
I mean, that take, though, that Bolivia is shifting away from the conservative policies, like what, that you mean the fascist coup government took over and like there's not even like how would they even know like what kind of policies they were doing so far, right? He just won the election. I'm not sure they've issued any kind of statement on like which direction they'll go in. That's such a dishonest framing by the Associated Press, right? That's,
No,
the CIA wrote
is.
that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, when you see the mainstream media saying the same talking points as both major parties in the country,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all anti-leftist sentiments, that says everything. You know, that just says everything. And you know, it also says what our country is on the world stage, because when you talk about somebody that is radical left in terms of being a politician in the country, they're internationally moderate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're a really right-wing government that imposes its imperialist desires on the rest of the world.
Yeah, no, we're the empire that runs the world, and any
And we're
government that wants to have
extremely
any
right-wing
independence.
by any other sort of metric other than what we go by in the Overton window of the United States. We are a very right-wing authoritative government.
Yeah, it's
You know,
basically like the Nazis never lost the war. You know, like we're just continuing their long game.
yeah,
Like,
except for maybe for the Holocaust part of it. But I mean, in terms of
we
government structure,
we killed just as many people during the Cold War doing coups and installing dictators and shit around the world.
but
Like,
that's really an important thing to think about here.
genocide with more steps.
Yeah, cue the. I'm gonna have to add a Rick sound effect to this thing, to the soundboard, but what it pointed out to me was this thing I said, and I thought it sounded a little bit controversial because, you know, for God's sakes, you look at the history and what the country has done to the black community in particular, but when it comes to left-wing or left-wing ideas or left-wing leaders, I don't think there's been, with probably the exception of the black community, anybody that was being criminalized more. You know, from the top to bottom with the Red Scare, with all that other kinds of shit. And you know what's ironic about that? And I always said that what's ironic about that is some of our most prominent leftist leaders from the 60s on have been prominent members of the black community, which is just crazy to me, because there's that intersection of that just gets criminalized. That, I mean, if you go top to bottom with MLK was characterized as a socialist communist. Same thing with Malcolm X. Same thing if you go down the line with all these people, that they had these very socialist ideas and they were criminalized for those, as well as for what they were championing in terms of civil rights.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like when you start looking into like racial justice, you notice that, you know, the economic justice is also lacking. It's like it's all connected, man. It's all like intersectional. Like if you're a real enough leader and you're doing right by your people, eventually you're going to see that, you know, left is best. You know, and then if you just look at like internationally, like they all since World War II, it's just any government that went at all to the left at all, that wasn't at all exactly in line with what Washington wanted, then it was every kind of intimidation, crackdown, voter suppression, whatever, the same shit they do here, just, you know, to the second power, right? Like just, you know, breaking up unions, murdering like union members, like, you know, like setting people up, fixing elections, installing dictators. And then if it was somebody,
But
like you couldn't even have somebody like Lula in Brazil. Like even he
Right.
was too radical for them, right?
Right.
Like they have to have basically fascist strongmen around the world, or else nobody would implement the austerity of their current neoliberal program, right? It's that's the state we're at. Like they have to basically like beat these other countries into submission to get them to do like Western capitalism.
exactly, and what the other thing
Nobody's
that it
as
allows,
insane as us.
and in our country, what it also allows us to do, or allows them to do, is it allows them to ignore that aspect of what their leadership meant, because they weren't just leaders in the black community. They were also leftist leaders. They're also leaders for leftist movements. And it bastardizes their legacy in a lot of ways to completely ignore that.
Well, that's what's so powerful, the fact that they can't completely destroy, like they don't want history to have like prominent socialist good guys, right? They want
Right.
to have
Right. And there's no way you can paint these. In retrospect, their legacies are so
I'm saying
elevated to
if
the
they
point where
could, yeah, like if they could figure out a way to reframe the narrative and shit on MLK, they would.
they would.
It's
They
like
would,
what they do
despite
with
his-
like Malcolm X.
Right.
You know?
And they still try to do that
Yeah.
with Malcolm X to an extent, even though they're largely more aligned on the economic aspect of their movements and their principles. I mean, go to Fred Hampton. It's the same kind of thing. These are all
Exactly.
leftist. These are all leftist leaders. And
Did you watch that Sorkin movie on Netflix?
no, I haven't got to
The
see it.
Chicago 7 one?
Oh no, I haven't got to see that one.
Oh man, we should do like a watch through.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I mean, it was about the protest at the the 68 convention or the 72 convention.
Yeah,
One or the other, the
anybody
Chicago 7
watch this live or come back and watch it later, then make sure you drop your opinions on doing a watch show for that. I think we haven't done a watch show before, so
You should just watch it and then we'll talk about it.
yeah,
Pretty good.
Well, okay, so let's go on to the other story. It's trending right now on Twitter, so I figured it's a good one to go to. It's also tying into another story that happened during the week, so let's just go to it. 50 says the quiet part loud. Jamaica Queens native who now lives in Connecticut. Hate to say it, but maybe Jadakiss was right. Checkmate. Y'all got it. So this was on Fox Business, I'm guessing by the look of it. The tax rates by state: New York City, New York State, 62%. What the fuck? Vote for Trump. I'm out. Fuck New York. The Knicks never win anyway. I don't care. Trump doesn't like black people. 62% of y'all are fucking mine. Well,
He's fucking.
okay, Don King. You don't care about your blackness. Don't care about your whiteness. Care about your
That's
greenness.
just so dumb, though. Like,
Obviously,
even
doesn't
if
work
he
that
wanted
way.
Trump to win,
All right, Fifth.
he's saying like, I'm a millionaire, so this is what I'm doing. It's not like he's campaigning for Trump. He's just putting it out there that like he's voting for Trump. So like, if Trump loses, he fucking, people are gonna forever hate him. Probably not forever, because he's quite charming, but he's like unnecessarily made a bad name for himself.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson, but this is not a good take from you, bro. You are, you've hustled.
I respect him for being honest, man. like it's better than like rich pieces of shit like trying to like moralize and
Okay, all right,
be
but
like, oh, I just need that strong conservative values that the Republican Party brings. And like Kanye's smart, right? Because he gets to avoid it by like having this like fake campaign, right?
yeah,
He gets to avoid having to pick
the part that gets me.
He's a Trump guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but the part that gets me is like he knows. He even says it right there in the tweet. I mean, the post from Instagram. I don't care. Trump doesn't like black people.
Well, like, it's like there's that, but like he's.
Oh, Curtis, what are you doing?
He's admitting that he doesn't care about his fans,
Yeah,
which is kind of bizarre.
and that's what he's saying, because not everybody. The 62% That's not going to hit anybody but people like him.
No, exactly. It's only gonna hit the fucking millionaires.
And
like,
even at that, he has to make how much
No.
money before that rate kicks in? How much money do they have to even make before? I mean, I would like to make
A
that
lot.
much money. I'd like to be able to make that
Exactly.
much money up to the point where a 62% tax on your shit would kick in. Because for people that don't know or have never looked into the tax rates in NYC, you have a municipal, you have a state, and you have a federal tax. So you 3 levels of taxation, right?
Mhm.
And you do end up with one of the best public transportation
city tax,
systems.
too.
Yeah, that's right. The municipal, federal, the state, and the federal. But I mean, you end up with a lot of perks. Like you have that whole. I mean, you have the best public transportation system, one of the best in the country, I'd say. You know, just from being there.
Mhm.
You know, you
You know
have.
the score. You live in New York. You're willing to pay it, right?
Yeah,
But, like,
definitely. I mean,
you know.
for my purposes, I think that the subway should be free. But that's another thing. But you have a lot of. Yeah. You know, but I mean that's one aspect of it. But another thing is like, okay, don't cry for 50 Cent. He's gonna be okay. You know, he's gonna be fine if he has to pay 62% tax.
No matter what 50 Cent's doing. you
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
like-
what did it? I'm gonna end up pulling this line up from Jadakiss that he's told him. But I mean, look, the fact that he's gonna be willing to do this, to go full MAGA, in this respect.
I don't think he's going full MAGA. I don't think I would call that. I think he's saying, yo, I'm rich. I'm voting for the Republican. Like, I don't give a fuck who it is. You know, I think that's what he's saying. Like, he's not, like, you know, he's not, like, going to a rally and, like, saying nice things about Trump. Like,
Well,
he
okay,
knows
the
Trump's an
reason I
asshole.
said that. The reason I said that is because he wasn't just out there saying this is what I'm gonna do. He says all y'all do what I'm gonna do.
He said that?
Yeah, look what he says right there. Vote for Trump.
again?
Right there. Look at the you can see it right here. Vote for Trump. Oh, Curtis, never king in New York. You live in Connecticut, bro. They ain't gonna even hit you. Thank you.
Damn. He should come out with a tweet tomorrow saying he was just kidding.
Well, from one rapper to another, and I know you
This
don't.
is, I mean, it sucks though, right? Because like 50 Cent, like he deserves his money. Like I want him to keep his money, right? But you know, he's
Look,
one of a
I
rare few
think-
that's gonna have to take a hit.
Look, I mean,
So
I don't
good.
think a hit on taxes like that would.
He's a billionaire, right?
I don't know if he's a billionaire by now. I mean,
Well,
he's
got all
probably.
that vitamin water money.
Yeah, he
made
has all that
He made
vitamin-
$500 million when he sold the vitamin water.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
mean, like the dude, he's still doing his hustle. So, I mean, as far as that goes, he's making money, so he's not hurting. Not gonna go MC Hammer broke.
No, he's not gonna pay 62% either. It's the other thing. His dumbass doesn't know that like you get out of paying all that, right? Like there's all
Right.
kinds of like deductibles, so the effective
Yeah.
tax rate is more like 30 something, if that. Like Warren Buffett used to say, right? Like if you're paying, like I pay less taxes than my secretary, and if you're a millionaire and you're not, you're an idiot or whatever it was. Something. I'm paraphrasing
But I mean,
obviously,
but now of course, people from the MAGA camp are still being they're really excited to have Curtis on
I want to
board.
hear what he says though. Like I want to see if he like gets down with the MAGA folks, right? Because I don't think he will.
Well, Tommy Lauren, I want to go and read this one from her. The rapper was met by a mix of praise and criticism for his post, with conservative Fox Nation host Tommy Lauren commenting, "Welcome to the Trump train. Welcome to the Trump train."
You see
Amen.
the next line?
Minutes
I just
after his
remembered I'm
post,
bankrupt.
says, "I just remembered I'm bankrupt, so I'm looking for a gracious loan. Anyone can help a brother out." How in the fuck is this dude broke and bankrupt? Even if that's true, how is that possible?
No, I don't think that's true.
I don't think it's
I mean,
true. I mean, he's got
I
that
think
money
he
from
had too much money to like Mike Tyson that shit. Like Mike Tyson didn't have that much money, right? Because he would get paid like per fight, and you would get like a huge stack of cash.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
you'd
he
spend
still
it,
had
and you'd have to
endorsement
fight again.
deals and stuff like that. I mean, look, and even then, I mean, Mike is still doing good. I don't know if MC Hammer's doing good anymore, but
Well, like Mike Tyson's doing good because he like started businesses, recently. Like he has like
but
that
I mean,
one thing he
look at
does.
50. 50's been all involved in the shows and
50's a
movies.
fucking Wall Street guy, basically. He's got like millions of dollars in stocks. He's like
Yeah,
invested with like the real money. Like he's rich, man. He's not like he's got money outside just like performing. Because he bought that stock in vitamin water
right. I
back when
mean,
it
I
was
haven't heard
small.
an album from 50 in forever, and
He doesn't need to. That's what I'm saying. He made hundreds of millions of dollars when Coca-Cola bought vitamin water. And he's
exactly.
been reinvesting that ever since. So he's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He's rich, man.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think the dude's gonna be ruined by this. And
I don't
even
think
then,
you
if
can
he's
lose
not,
that. Like, the
even then, look,
economy's
it's like
set
what
up
you
that you have
said.
to, like, you can't, it's set up for, like, once you're that rich, you can't lose your money, basically, right? Like, you have to
Hmm.
be doing ridiculously, reckless shit with your money, like investing it in, like, startups and stuff. Like, if you have $100 million, you can put it in, like, an index fund, anything, and he's got more than that.
All right.
Like,
Well, just I know you hate my segues, but just to go from one rapper to another, Ice Cube also came under fire here. For his hot takes, I guess he seemed like he was a little bit more open to going in favor of Trump because he's more of a fuck both parties kind of dude.
yeah,
From the sound
he
of it.
sounds, yeah, I mean, he sounds like he's got some crazy ideas in his head. Like,
Hmm.
he, like, gets, like, conspiracy memes and shit from
Hmm.
Facebook, right? Like, he sounds like he's got, like, some Illuminati, like, maybe some, like, Jews control the world kind of
Yeah, I
takes
mean,
about
look,
him.
he
Like, I
was.
don't think that thing he said before was like that, but, like, the things he says, he kind of, like, sounds like he kind of is, like, walking the line,
Mhm.
like, you know? Um,
Well, look,
but I don't,
he's had
this is fine with me.
criticisms as far as being anti-Semitic
Yeah.
for a long time.
Uh,
I remember, if you look at the whole No Vaseline track that he released, there was a diss track to NWA. You mentioned something about, like, you let a Jew break up my crew, something like that, right? And
mm.
his affiliation with the Nation of Islam, I think, is what it is.
Yeah,
That
fuck that though, man. Like, I'm like, that's not enough for me to be like, oh,
and
okay, you're
it was
toxic.
never, yeah,
Like,
it was never enough for me to go ahead and say that this dude's anti-Semitic either. But Cube out here, he put the tweet out that he put out the CWBA, which is a contract with Black America, and both parties contacted him. And then the Dems said they would address the contract after the election. The Trump campaign made some adjustments to their plans after talking about it. So
yeah,
if that's your thing, and that's what you're trying to go ahead and get pushed, and you have one party that looks more receptive than the other, I mean, I can understand you coming away with a more positive look on
yeah,
one end of the spectrum or the other, you know.
100%.
And so here we go from the second tweet that he put. Every side is the dark side for us here in America. They're all the same until something changes for us. They all lie, they all cheat, but we can't afford not to negotiate with whoever is in power, or our condition in this country will never change. Our justice is bipartisan.
Yeah, man. What's he
So
like?
I think
Fucking
that's
people.
probably the most woke up take.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. These fucking libs like going after him are dumb as shit. Like
And
that's.
yeah, and like they went after Chris Pratt because
I saw that.
he
What was
wasn't.
that? That looked a little more specious.
Okay, so the Chris Pratt thing,
That
I don't
church,
think I.
right?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So they went after him after that. They went after them after that for the church that he belongs to, being, I think it's conversion kind of conversion believer church. But I mean that's something that the libs do. They'll dig up some stuff on you, like if you believe in, you sign off on all that other different shit that they'll tie you to. But the thing with the Chris's, there was a whole meme about all the, Chris Evans, Chris Pine, Chris Hemsworth, all of them. I guess they were doing some kind of event for Biden, and the only one that didn't participate was, Chris, fucking
Pratt.
Pratt.
Because
Thank you.
Biden's fucking cringe, man. I wouldn't go
Right
to Biden's event
now,
either.
there was a whole thing about Chris Pratt because he's more of a right wing conservative type of.
Is that true though? Because
No,
I don't think.
he is. No, he is a right wing kind of believing person, but he does not.
Is he American?
Yeah, Chris Pratt. Yeah, he's American. But the thing that he said was that neither party represents him.
Yeah,
It wasn't
exactly.
a
That's based.
so it wasn't a
Yeah.
thing like he said that he's supporting Trump or that I'm backing Trump. It
Yeah,
was a
that's
thing
obviously
about
like
yeah.
he's got to be on the left, right?
No, he's not on the left. I mean, I don't know if he
How
would
do you
be
know
on the
that, man? He says neither party represents him.
yeah, but I think he means it more from a different point of view because I'm not sure if he believes in like leftist politics, but I know that he's very religious. I know that he's I mean he's married to Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter, right? That's who he ended up marrying after he divorced Anna Faris.
Doesn't mean anything, though.
No, but I know that he's been like an avowed Republican before Trump. He just thinks that Trump is just an asshole.
Oh, he's a never Trumper.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's the
Oh
term.
shit. Oh god, he's like a John McCain Republican. No way.
Yeah, I mean that's what
No
it sounds
way.
like. You know, and
No
then like
way.
I remember he did that whole speech before too about the kids in cages.
He did?
Yeah, he did a speech about it where he says something about like God loves you and this isn't our country and shit like that.
Yeah, that's also something a leftist would say.
I mean
Like,
the God stuff, maybe to a
I
lesser
mean,
extent.
he could be like, he sounds like he's an actual religious person, though. So I
Yeah,
feel like
he
once you're
is.
actually religious, you're on the left.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think you can support either of the parties if you're a devout religious person who actually understands scripture and teachings, right? Like the Pope, you know?
right. I mean, I think at some point or another maybe he could find us a way to the left, but I don't think so. I think he's just a never Trumper.
So he supported like Mitt Romney. Is he a Mormon?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he falls
That would
into.
make sense if he was Mormon.
Maybe I think that would kind of make sense, but no, I mean let's not mistake it for. I mean, I don't think that the libs deserve to come down. I mean, should come down on him like just because he's not participating in a fundraiser for fucking Biden. I mean, screw that. But
I mean, like I said, Biden's fucking. You know, if you disagree with Trump on religious grounds, then you should disagree with Biden too. There's literally like no daylight between them in terms of like
yeah,
moral.
definitely.
You know, Biden did the crime bill, the Iraq war, like the wars all throughout his time in the White House. You know, drone, 94% civilian kill rate. Like just, he's got nothing on Trump. Like, Trump fucked up coronavirus and he continued all the bad policies, but like Biden's one of the most damaging figures in American in global politics in the last 50 years, right? Yep. He's going to have a terrible legacy. Like, it's kind of insane that he's, going to be president.
Yeah.
With the life of evil and just ill repute he's led. Just kind of shows you like the decline of, the empire. Like,
well,
someone like him.
No, I mean it does. All right, let me see where we can go
Minnesota.
to. Oh yeah, let's go to this dude. Let's go to this dude. He was also trending today on Twitter. I don't know if everybody caught this, but most people probably would have caught this one. Jeffrey Toobin,
the man,
chief legal analyst for CNN, writer for the New Yorker. He was suspended for pulling his dick out on a work call during a Zoom meeting, and he didn't realize the camera was on.
Is that what you think?
That's what he said.
I mean, well, what's he going to say? I think.
Well, I mean, we should get.
I
mean, there's a little bit of a insight about what happened.
He says, by the way, Chris Pratt dropped out of community college and lived in homeless in Maui, sleeping in a van. He's a pretty awesome place to be homeless. We just drank and smoked weed and worked minimal hours, just enough to cover gas, food, and fishing. He recalled listening to Dr. Dre.
Did you jump
2001
over,
daily.
Did you jump all over like Chappelle talking, bro?
What?
I played Chappelle to talk about the dick story.
Oh. Well. Secretly based.
So this is from what now?
What?
The thing that you were reading while I was playing the Chappelle thing.
I was reading Chris Pratt's Wikipedia.
Oh, you're reading Chris Pratt's thing. All right. Let's go
man.
back to Chris Pratt for a second before we jump ahead to Toobin.
Just that he lived on the beach and smoked weed and worked minimal hours, just enough to cover gas and food. So, and he listened to Dr. Dre, The Chronic, 2001 every day and knew every word to it.
Interesting.
Sounds pretty based, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's still more of a nerd Trumper than a left winger. Which, I mean, is fine.
It's just lib propaganda, man.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that, I mean, I don't think there's anything cancelable about being an ever Trumper and not being all on board for Biden, but whatever.
He gave money to Barack Obama's 2012 campaign.
Interesting. So then how was, I mean, the shit that they come up with.
I'm telling you, that's just lib propaganda. They think that if you don't support them, you're a chud.
Yeah, and
that's how they act.
Yeah, I mean, there were certain things. I mean, I have to look into his stuff, but, you know, I know that he no, but I'm saying I think he was probably. I'm still thinking that he's probably a never Trumper though. I mean, just looking into what I've seen about him.
Like I said, I think he's just woke. I don't know. I don't pay attention to any of this celeb gossip stuff. But...
Well, let's go back to Jeffrey Toobin now.
So Toobin, like I said, do you know him? Did you know him? Have you heard his name before today?
No, I didn't exactly know him. I don't think I did. I know he's making the rounds. And, he's, what do you call it? He's a CNN correspondent, right, for legal analysis.
He's a New Yorker.
Yeah, no, he's on CNN too as a contributor.
Oh.
But so you have another Twitter correspondent to go to for everybody. Here we go.
Damn, Jeffrey Toobin. At least Wee Herman was in an X-rated movie theater. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Juice.
Thank you, Juice, for those words on the forthcoming story about Jeffrey Toobin. So, I mean,
yeah, man. I think, I mean, I'm telling you, I have like a, I'm
looking around. I mean, looking around, they said that there's some stuff that he was involved with that might have said that he's like some kind of pervert.
Yeah, this would be the epic move if you were like a weirdo flasher.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you do that and you'd be like, because they get off on like exposing themselves, right? So like you do that and then afterwards you claim like, oh shit, like I didn't know my camera was on, right? So then people kind of like feel bad for you and think you're a moron and a creep. But they don't
Would
think
you want
you're
people
like
to really
sicko.
think that about? Oh, let's go to another correspondent here from New York.
Why? What happened?
Let's see. How shall I put this?
Well, just put it.
He took it out.
He what?
He took it out.
He took what out?
It?
He took it out?
Yes, sirree, Bob.
Yeah, we're still working on sound stuff, but yeah, he took it out.
Yeah, but that was IRL though. I mean, that was different. Like I said, I think, I don't know, man. Would you like they were doing an election simulation? Like they're pretending to be different people, like in the aftermath of the, the election. And I don't know. Do you think he was just like, oh man, just he like actively jerking it? Was he like watching the other participants and rubbing one out?
I think we.
Or was he?
Well, I mean, we can go off Hillary's reaction here. I mean, she seems pretty shocked. Um, yeah, man.
Like I said, if it's now, it's just going to be an accident, so he'll go
Oh
away.
well,
for a few
actually, I have
months.
the video here. This might get us pulled down, but just to go ahead and. Yeah, y'all can't tell by now. I do like my corny jokes.
Um, yeah.
So this was the thing, though. So the more serious aspect of this is that he has been involved in certain questionable things before, if of this kind. So in 2010, Toobin was accused of whispering disgusting things to prominent women, then following her to the hotel room and trying to invite himself in before leaving vile messages.
Yeah, man, he sounds like a sicko. I'm telling you, he was doing it on purpose.
You know, so it's just to read it back. I'm not sure who this guy is, but you know, he was tweeting out some of these things. I mean, he's probably a right winger. He's a Megan Kelly show podcast editor and whatever else it is. But he
I think Callie's like resistance now, though, right?
I don't know. Whatever she is, I don't think she's exact. I mean, with this person, here we go. Steve Crocker.
Krakauer.
Yeah, Krakauer. Yeah. So he went in this a little bit of a thread here about involving this behavior by Toobin. So maybe it's not out of the whole realm of possibility that maybe Toobin is just some kind of perv that was getting off on doing what he was doing, just as Chappelle was saying, just jerking it around. Where do you? I mean, what do you think, bro? Do you think it's more of a pervy thing?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't know. Like the stuff I was reading, it sounded like he claimed he thought the camera was off, but then like right before
Right.
he started, he like moved the camera again. So why would you do that if you thought the camera was off, right? You would either like turn it around all the way so it physically can't see or whatever, or cover it up, or you know, whatever, make sure the light was out. Like, how do you know the camera's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you're a boomer and you don't know tech, like the light goes on and off if the camera's on, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, look, what it sounds like just as a possibility, and I'm just spitballing here, but maybe he wanted to record himself and didn't know he was on a Zoom call. Hey, you know, I'm just trying to say there's a possibility. You know, some people are into that shit. They want to go and watch themselves just jerk it.
just jerking it.
Yep, just
I mean, whatever, man. My man. Like,
my man,
you know,
bro. I mean, up to the point where it's destructive.
people are getting sick of being locked away.
Yeah, I
To
mean,
reopen the
obviously
country.
that has to. I mean, because it sounds like they're working from home.
Yeah, they're doing that. I told you that election simulation thing, like pretending to be different characters. But like I said, I feel like that's the kind of thing where you would be able to, you know, figure out when the camera was on. Like, he's been using Zoom this whole time, you know, right? Wouldn't you imagine? Like,
Maybe
I
not
don't know,
doing
man.
that during work hours is the other alternative. You know, you're not freaking Caputo from Orange is the New Black.
I mean, like I said, like, I don't know. I have no problem with him jerking it. I have no problem with, you know, any of his jerking it activities. I just, like I said, if he's like intentionally getting off on like exposing himself, that's
Yeah,
that's a
that,
sick
I mean,
crime.
that's a pretty sick thing. Let's go from one sick person to another. Mr. Former Mayor of New York, Giuliani.
Oh man, he's so fucking weird.
He's been behind this recent string of leaks that have led to a few New York Post articles, including the ones that were censored by Twitter. But this one, he released a bunch of text messages from Hunter Biden exchanging with his dad, which I think is backfiring spectacularly. Because even I'm not a real Biden guy. Just voted today for Howie Hawkins.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I texted
Fuck
that
yeah, man.
earlier. Yeah, I've actually followed through with it.
Oh,
I
I
felt
didn't
pretty
see
good. You know,
that.
no, I felt pretty good about that, bro. Like, I mean, after looking at those the Hillary videos talking about Bernie, I felt like such a deep sense of regret for voting for her, and I don't think I'm gonna be worrying about that, regardless of what happens. If I say I voted for Howie Hawkins, you know, I'm not gonna feel that. But
You didn't want to vote for Lariva?
no, and then
Which on your
Kanye
ballot?
wasn't on the ballot. I didn't.
I
see
think
him.
I'm gonna vote for Lariva. I mean,
Wait,
I mean,
no, go for Kanye, bro. Go for Kanye.
Kanye's not on my ballot. I got two
Oh.
socialists though. I got Joseph Kishore, the other
Do
guy.
you think Kanye could have done damage
Trotsky.
in Illinois?
Not enough to swing it to.
But
Trump.
but okay, so let's go back to the Giuliani thing. So I like this tweet. Pretty impressive for Giuliani to step on his own dick this bad with an attempt at rat fucking.
Yeah.
So a raw series of text messages show Joe Biden offering fatherly comfort at his son Hunter lamented from a rehab facility about being a fucked up addict who can't be trusted and had damaged his dad's political career.
Why?
The intimate family exchange took place on February 24, 2019, before Joe Biden launched his campaign for the White House. I have
Good morning,
the text.
my beautiful son.
Well, I have the
miss you
text.
and
I
love
have the
you.
text here.
Dad.
So here we go. Good morning to my beautiful son. I miss you and I love you, Dad. I'll run, but I need you. H is wrong. Only focus is recovery, nothing else. Your girls are so smart, truly amazing, very focused. Naomi's very upset with Kay. When you can and feel like it, call. Positive, my text, etc. Target. So
Positive my text at Target. What does that mean?
I don't know exactly what it meant.
Like
these
for
are just
hackers?
maybe that's what he was signaling about, but no,
I mean, I don't know why he thought that would make him look bad.
it
It's
makes
so
him
bizarre.
look. I mean, no, it makes him look good.
Yeah, it's just like it reveals a lot about like the fucked up like right wing ideology.
That-
Like that's a bad thing to
Right.
them. They think that's gonna be like a ding on Biden. They're so out of touch, right? Like
I mean, it has
how many
to be.
people have gone through that, and it's just like what are you trying to say here? Like what is your your case you're trying to make against Biden for doing this incredibly touching bit of like father sympathy?
Right.
Like, I would say most people don't have a dad like that, right?
No,
Like,
I mean, and there's Hunter admitting to his faults.
exactly.
Too.
Look at this comment. See, right, Adrian.
Yeah, just pulled this one up. I wish my dad sent me text like that. Motherfucker just calls me, fail all the time. Here we go. Yeah. No, I mean,
Exactly.
come on. Anybody, like a lot of us growing up, fuck up, and
Yeah.
that's what we want from a dad is to be understanding.
I mean, the
You
thing
know-
is, it does show like the hypocrisy, right? That's the thing you can burn him on it with, but none of those assholes are good enough to make that case, right? Like, oh, Joe Biden, the crime bill, he sent all those addicts to prison, right? And his son gets, nice text from his daddy. Like, that's the case to make, right? But they can't make that case. Like, they're fucking morons, right?
No,
So
it
just makes Biden look good.
It does, and I mean, it says more about the right wingers than it does about him personally. I think, And all right, let's go to. Let's
Feel bad
see.
for Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him because I mean he knows that he's kind of a fuck up.
What the hell? He was getting $50K a month from Burisma. though,
Yeah,
so-
I mean, there's that part of it too. I mean, let's not forget he was pretty corrupt in that sense. But let's go to the state of the nation with the time of Corona. Let's start here. This is a good spot for it. 8 million Americans have slipped into poverty amid the coronavirus pandemic, the study finds.
They don't care at all.
I don't think so.
They don't care, man. They really don't. Like,
Yep, I
they
don't think so. What do you
like,
think?
as
What
long as the
what does
1%
AOC think?
I don't think so.
Yep, I agree. No, I mean the things have gotten pretty bad, and I've and really upset me to look at some of these like a couple, every so often one of those right-wing memes pops in your feed, and you see this one about, you think $1,200 would be life-saving. Imagine getting a job.
Mm.
You know, I mean,
why do they think there's jobs everywhere? It's like the only jobs there are like shitty gig jobs with
and
no benefits.
We just saw this. This is from the San Francisco Chronicle. The government said another 840,000 Americans just filed for unemployment this week. This brings the total number of unemployed to 63.6 million since mid-March. These are horrible numbers. This is bad for the economy. And we have another comment here. Matt, do you think that there's going to be another shutdown?
No, I don't. But I think that there's going to be like a national strategy, right? Like that's one of the things that like Pelosi is supposedly haggling over, the contact tracing testing program. That's the thing we haven't had all along. We haven't had a national
testing program.
Anything, right?
Right. There's been no national strategy. There's not been a national cohesive strategy to go ahead and deal with this. Even with what Biden's proposing, it's nothing that's unified federally, which I would think that the president could have authority in the national interest to go ahead and do something like a national mask mandate without having to go through all these fucking governors or mayors or whatever else it is. So, I mean, at this point, I don't think the right wing...
Imagine the pushback.
No, but I don't think the right wing... governors care enough to go and shut things down. I know Abbott wouldn't go for another shutdown, no matter how bad the numbers get. Como might go for it. Maybe the blue states might go for another shutdown.
No, but like if they did try to do a national mask mandate, the red state governors would freak out.
Of course,
like, this is tyranny, and then they would take the shit to the Supreme Court, and then their psycho Supreme Court judges would.
Coney Island Barrett would probably go ahead and shoot that motherfucker down.
Our numbers in Illinois are higher than they've ever been. It's the highest they've ever been. Right. So like whatever we're doing is not working anymore. And it's like, our mayor reopened all the bars and restaurants, and I mean we went out to dinner on Saturday night and it seemed pretty safe, but like I don't see like people at the bars don't appear to be pretty safe, right? Like dinner we were like isolated.
It's not safe. Like just here we're flirting with under 1,000 new cases a day. And our city's probably we're in the top 10 in terms of population in Texas, but that's pretty god awful in a city about 500,000 to get 1,000 cases in a day.
We're fucked, man.
And with the responses from the government, I mean, I can see Biden putting in the post office program that Trump scrapped. Maybe that, and I think that would help because I think this is a 90-10 issue where you're gonna find most people are gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna wear a mask.
But the thing I'm worried about is the Republican governments. I don't think the people mind, like you said. I think it's a 90-10 issue. The people are fine with wearing masks and being safe.
They're annoying, but I mean,
governors.
Yeah. But I think in terms of, since we're talking about 90-10 issue, let's go to this article from the New York Times. It's talking about the state of the Trump campaign, which, if I had the Titanic theme on the soundboard, I would go to. But Trump enters final weeks with public bravado and private acknowledgement that things are bleak. Stephen telling Republicans that their path forward is slim. Meadows on the rocks after White House COVID fiasco. Some Trump staff is already seeking jobs on the Hill.
Yeah, man. He just gave up.
The rats are deserting the ship, it looks like. So one key difference from 2016, 4 years ago, Republicans were confident they'd hold the House and optimistic about the Senate. Today, they expect losses on all levels, especially possibly very, very bad ones. And a few think Trump is inclined to care much about the races beside his own, unfortunately. The thing about it is, okay, so we got another comment here. So are we all going to die? That's one. So as terms of COVID, what do you think? Are we all going to die, Matt?
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of worried. I'm not going to lie.
I'm kind of worried too at this point.
I don't know if we're all going to die. It seems like not that many people are dying from it anymore. But
I mean, the treatments have gotten better, but I think everybody's probably looking to get it before the vaccine comes out. I think a lot of more people are gonna die. You saw that one dude, that Instagram dude, that he's like a fitness dude, and he ended up dying from it. He's in good shape too. Motherfucker dies. And another one, Trump is going to cheat his way in. That's the thing.
I think he's gonna try.
He's gonna try. He's absolutely gonna try to cheat his way in, but I don't think things are not close enough to be able to cheat your way in at this point. And definitely, he can't cheat in all the Republicans in the House and the Senate that are fixing to lose too.
Yeah, but I mean, the president has a lot of power on his own,
right?
Like you've seen, but like he doesn't, just like he couldn't pull off any of the coups, right? Like he also needs the same, like he needs the same kind of, like preparedness and gusto to pull off that kind of, he's doing a coup at home, right? So it's the same kind of thing. He needs to have planned it out. I mean, I'm gonna get a vaccine, Raquel. If they, if it gets past the FDA, right? Like if the pharma companies approve it.
Yeah, and if they approve it, then I'll let.
Too much liability for them.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let them approve it. Then I'm gonna let everybody else go out there for a month and take it. And then I see everybody's cool. Then I'll go get it.
I mean, like I said, if the pharma companies, it's like trillions of dollars in liability.
Yeah,
they wouldn't
that's
put
true.
It out there if it wasn't ready.
That's a mess of class actions and mass tort suits, by the way.
Yeah, dude. They would not put it out unless it was legit. Like I said, I think it's just going to be shitty. It's only going to last for a few months. I don't think it's going to hurt you, though.
No. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about the vaccine at this point, but let's see. FDA makes mistakes. I mean, I think that the FDA would make less mistakes than Trump would. And I think just in the terms of mechanisms between pharma, FDA, whatever else, and then most likely all this is going to come after Trump is out of office. I think at that point, when you're probably going to be dealing with a vaccine that's okay, but I'm still going to give it a month. I'll still give it a month. I'll let y'all go get it. I'll see how y'all feel. Call me in a month. Make sure that y'all good. I'll see you, and then we'll see what happens.
I mean, I feel I mean, there's going to be people who take it first, right? Like
of course, somebody has to be the first one. I wouldn't want to be that person, but I mean, look, just as an example, to back up Raquel's point that she's making here. So there was one of the treatments that had been given out in terms for COVID for a while. It's remdesivir. And
that's different, though. Like I said, I don't trust the pharma companies like they do good work. I trust them like they do what's best for their bottom line. So in this situation, giving out remdesivir before they knew it was effective was best for their bottom line.
Okay.
The same thing with the vaccine. Like, I don't trust them to rush out a drug that's not effective if it's going to hurt their bottom line, which something that's going to, make everybody impotent or something is going to be bad for their bottom line.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine they come up with a freaking COVID vaccine and it causes mass sterilizations.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they wouldn't do that, though. That's what I mean. Like,
and how would you even know? You wouldn't even know that until like a while after. There'd be like one of those.
No, because that's what the testing is for. That's what the trials are for.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess what the difference is like they would have, something could happen years down the line from when you take the vaccine. But like, I don't know if that's something that, I don't know if like the science lends itself to that,
Well, okay, I got three more stories that I wanted to go into. This one, Matt, I know you wanted to talk about. It has to do with the evictions and everything since we're still talking about COVID. Here we go. This was on the 15th.
Yeah.
No one should be evicted
Hell yeah.
during the pandemic.
Well, like,
this is not justice. This is not due process.
That's
This is
what's going to have to happen. Like, apparently this, like, the moratorium Trump put out there is not as good
Tenants in the room.
as we thought it was going to
This is
happen,
not
as we
your
thought it was
fault.
going to be, right?
You deserve
Like,
a decent
it's,
home. You deserve
there's all kinds of
shelter
loopholes in
during
it,
the pandemic.
and
You are not
states
alone.
are going to be able to kind of
Safety
proceed
tenants
if they
has
want.
your back.
But this seems like it's been effective, right? When they've tried this, it's
You are complicit.
it's
With
shut the court
every
down.
eviction you
Everywhere
hear.
I've seen them do it.
You are
So
making people homeless
get ready for this all winter. We have to.
Well,
But I
I
do
mean,
have
there's
faith that
there's
people
no
can pull this off.
hold on. There's no word about any kind of relief coming in terms of evictions. And they're getting
No.
and this is the people taking it into their own hands. You know, you can see from right here, you can't evict, but you can't reach the courtroom. So the tenants block the court entrance. 6 people chained to the doors, and they prevented the eviction. These extended things. I mean, during the time of a global pandemic, when people are out of work, evicting people on the street is fucking wrong. That's just the long and short of it. And I'm glad that people decided to go ahead and act in this way.
And even that, though, like, nobody's going to be able to pay their back rent either is the other problem.
Yeah, that's the other part. You're talking about back rent. I mean, where are you going to...
Like, California, I think there's a proposed tax.
Yep. Listen, we got a couple more
candidates.
All right,
they want to do a tax on billionaires to pay everybody's back rent.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do something like that.
I mean, it's the only way. That's the only way. I mean, okay, so let's see. We got a couple more comments here. You need the 10-year study in terms of the COVID vaccine.
I mean, if you
I
want to
hope
stay inside for
not.
10 years, it's going to suck.
Let's see. Here we go. Like they're doing to the women in the detention center in terms of the sterilizations. I mean, see, that's why I wouldn't put it past them.
That was what was best for the bottom line. If you look at the profit motive in that situation, what was most profitable is for the doctors to do the hysterectomy and charge the government $10K for it or whatever they're charging.
Shit, man, that was just sick, though.
All the money.
So let's go to the next story here. You know, I got to do one of these a week. AOC, Ayanna Pressley, Katie Porter. 39 left-wing groups have already started drawing battle lines on the Biden administration personnel, signing a letter arguing that no C-suite level corporate exec ought to have a Senate confirmed position. So
I think that's more than fair.
I think that is more than fair. Do you think it will be effective for them to go ahead and take that stance now?
I mean, even if they did it, it wouldn't really matter, right? Like, even if they did agree to it, they would just get them in other positions and have them lobbying the people who were confirmed. And, you know, they are going to be able to push through whatever shitty policies they want, right? I mean, that's mostly symbolic, I think, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Sorry,
I think...
loves AOC.
No. I only like her as a congresswoman. I just want to keep clarifying that.
Did you see she did that thing? She's going to stream with.
Yeah, she did that thing with Hassan Piker. She's your rep, by the way, sis. So you gotta take pride in your rep when you actually have a good one.
You're lucky.
But no, I mean for me, I think it's important to have those kind of left wing leaders, and I mean I'd rather see them take a stand than not. So regardless of what it does, I think they kind of mortgage their position by going and endorsing Biden to start with.
And it's smart of her to draw attention to it, though. Like I like that about it because she's saying, like, look, this is a thing that we have to watch out for. Because it kind of bothers me about Bernie, too. Like, he was too polite to explicitly say, you take money from these guys, so this is why you support these policies.
Right.
But, like, doing that where you're explicitly saying, like, look, there's lobbyists in the administration, that's not good, is drawing attention to it without exactly saying, they're corrupt.
Yeah.
It's like a taboo on accusing your colleagues of being corrupt.
All right, so let's see. I got this just 2 more stories to go here. This was I thought you'd like this one, Matt. Statue of a homeless Jesus startles the wealthy community.
And then they called the cops on it?
They called the cops on the homeless statue of Jesus. That a religious statue in North Carolina. It depicts Jesus as a vagrant sleeping on the park bench. The Episcopal Church installed the homeless Jesus statue on its property in the middle of an upscale neighborhood filled with well-kept townhomes, and then Jesus is huddled under a blanket with his face and hands obscured. Only crucifixion wounds on his undercovered feet give him away. The reaction was immediate. Some loved it, some didn't. One woman from the neighborhood actually called the police the first time she drove by, and she thought it was an actual vagrant, an actual homeless person. And another neighbor who lives a couple of doors down from the church, wrote a letter to the editor saying it creeps him out. Some neighbors feel that the insulting depictions of the Son of God, and feel it's an insulting depiction of the Son of God, and that it makes him appear to be a hobo curled up on the bench that means the neighborhood. The bronze statue was purchased for $22,000 as a memorial for a parishioner, Kate McIntyre, who loved public art. The rector of the Liberal Inclusive Church is David Buck, 65-year-old Baptist turned Episcopalian who seemed not at all adverse to the controversy, the double takes, and the discussion that the statue have provoked. It gives authenticity to the church. This relatively affluent church to be honest and be reminded of ourselves that our faith expresses itself in an active concern for the marginalized of society. Yeah. So what do you make of that one, man?
I think it's cool, man. Make the rich people check their privilege,
especially
right?
the libs out there. I mean, this is really targeted towards the libs out that want to go back to brunch, like you said, and want to talk about socialism as it's some kind of evil thing.
Yeah,
right.
No, this is what they need to be reminded.
That's exactly what they need to be reminded, especially the religious parts of it.
Yeah, like how could you read the Bible and not understand that that's a true depiction of Jesus, right?
Exactly.
Like I don't understand what Bible they're reading, but he was just traveling around in the desert.
He was traveling. I mean, look, what's the story of his birth? Going from inn to inn, no place to be born, depending on somebody actually taking kindness on him and allowing him to be born in a freaking stable in front of a bunch of animals.
Yeah, and then his adult life, like eventually he had followers that put him up, but like at first he was just going, like a vagrant.
Yeah, I mean that's what it was. He was going from town to town, just anybody that would be able to go and say, all right, yeah, I can take you in for a little bit. You and your crew, come chill with us.
Then I wonder if he had like
probably at the end of the day, be like, all right, what do you mean you all out of wine? All right, there you go, keep the party going. Maybe in the end somewhere, but okay. So we got a comment here, Adrian Ordonez. The libs want their buddy Christ back.
Yeah,
that's what they want.
Jesus.
They want the buddy Christ, but
yeah,
the reality of it is that Christ in today's society would be more likely to be that vagrant sitting on a bench with no place to be, and than anything else and more than likely the right wing the political apparatus that goes and champions him and says they're speaking in his name.
Imagine if they were basing religion off somebody who lived now,
right?
Like 1,000 years from now,
right?
Like, some scumbag. It'd be like, Elon Musk or like Hillary Clinton or just someone terrible.
All right. So yeah, you have another comment here. Religion is hypocritical. I think more in practice, the people that say they're religious are hypocritical more than the actual message.
It's that the evangelicals, they have that prosperity gospel, right?
Yes, you have all those people that are, what do you call it, the televangelist kind of people that are saying you can tell how blessed you are by how much money you have.
Exactly, that's what they think. So it's like
give me money because
Wall Street
I am
greed
blessed.
Is good as a religion. Like it's basically just make as much money as you can, and that means God loves you. So
yeah, I mean weird. It's so antithetical to the message that is actually in the scriptures.
Right?
No, absolutely, and yeah, I mean all this dumb. I mean, for the first reaction for people to go ahead and say, "All right, I'm gonna call the cops on this person sleeping on a bench." I mean, it's sick. To me,
I wonder if the cop pulled a gun on it.
Right. I mean, imagine that'd have been a funnier story. The cop goes ahead and unloads on the statue of Jesus, hitting him right miraculously.
He was moving. He was pulling a gun out from his.
He pulled a crucifix with a pointed edge, and I had to shoot him. And then miraculously, all the wounds landed in the form of the stigmata. Well, okay, so just a couple more things I wanted to go over. Since we're talking about the judiciary community lately, one of the things that we discussed as former law school students was this thing that Coney Barrett said, that she can't evaluate hypotheticals and apply the law to the hypothetical situations, which, as Matt and I know, is 90% of what you do in law school. They give you a hypothetical, you take the law that you're studying, and then you apply it to the hypothetical situation.
Yeah.
So
It's just every single answer, she evaded making any kind of statement. She just kind of does some wishy-washy thing, like, yeah, maybe not, like, you know, we'll see what happens. She just had such like an ego, right? Like, she knew she was going to be confirmed. There's nothing they could do.
That's basically what it is. I mean, at this point, it's going to be a lame duck appointment, like I thought it was. But this TikTok clip really spoke to me. I'm sure it probably spoke to you too, Matt. But let's go to it.
Apply the law to a hypothetical set of, and I can't apply the law to a hypothetical set of facts.
Huh? Guess I'm done here. Don't need these. Definitely don't need this one. Can't apply the law to a hypothetical set of facts. Tuition refund.
And I.
Yep.
And you meet in her class.
I mean, imagine what they would. I mean, if I was in her class that was taught, I would say that. Wait a minute, I thought you said in front of the Senate, you can't really do what we're doing now, where you apply the law to a hypothetical set of.
Yeah.
But all right, Matt. That was just that little small part that I did want to go and talk about really fast, and then I wanted to close up on this nice story. Wonder where your tax dollars go. We have the most inflated military budget in the world, and this is an example of where that money is spent. The U.S. military is trialing augmented reality goggles for dogs. As many people know, dogs are still used heavily in the military as part of their operations, and now they're getting augmented with future wear. You see, they have them badass Macho Man looking goggles.
Wow.
You know, and it's a future wear.
He digs it.
I mean, it looks like I'm not gonna lie, that dog looks pretty badass with the shits. Right? I mean, look at it. You got a Rottweiler right here. That said, future wear augmented reality goggles that enable soldiers to give them remote commands during operations. So the goggles are being developed by Command Sight, a Seattle-based company with U.S. Army research funding that will allow military dogs to assist in rescue operations and scout potentially dangerous areas for hazards and explosives. While their handlers remain at a safe distance. So the technology with which the U.S. Army says that is the first of its kind works by letting a handler see everything the dog can see and then provide specific commands using visual cues that show up in the dog's line of vision. Currently, the military dogs are most commonly directed with hand signals or laser pointers, which require the handler to be in close proximity. Handlers can also use audio communication with a camera and a radio attached to the dog, but the commands can be confusing for the dog. The Army says that AR goggles could offer Special Forces dogs and their handlers a new alternative, especially as the animals are already used to wearing protective goggles during operations. Stephen Lee, a senior scientist for Army Research Office, said in a statement that the new technology offers the military a critical tool to better communicate with the work of military service dogs.
I bet you it works. I bet you those dogs, I bet you there's no problem, right?
Man, what happened to the days of Chips, the Silver Star dog that just was a badass, biting Nazis, kicking ass?
I mean, think about it, though. Like, they can probably send the dogs on, like, secret missions now, right? They can probably, pull up to the hideout or whatever, and then, strap the goggles on and tell the dog to go, bite everybody inside, right?
But I mean, this is what we were talking about in terms of the military budget.
It's such a waste of fucking money. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on, man. We want health care. Give us UBI. You don't need to, keep these dogs at home. Don't send them to war. Give them a nice home with 3 square meals and
the government does.
Throw the freaking ball for them. They can go chase that shit around. I think they'd have a much happier existence than to have to go and wear augmented reality goggles and go bite fucking Al Qaeda in the ass.
I mean, I don't know, man. I thought Chips was pretty happy serving his country.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chips was uniquely placed, and he did some great things. But I think at the end of it, the best part of it is that he got to come home and live in a peaceful home and be well taken care of until his resting days.
Do you think those Rottweilers get to like play video games and shit on their AR goggles?
I mean, I hope you hope when you have situations with service dogs that people are taking care of them and actually giving a damn about them. Not just leaving them out to die.
Like,
but I think all right, bro. Do you have any more stuff that you want to talk about? Let's see. Who called a Christian Karen? Christian. Oh, okay. That was from before. A Christian Karen. That's essentially what it was. But yes.
Did you see that shit with Trump and Exxon? That was pretty funny.
No, I didn't.
Let's watch that clip.
See, bookmark it just so we can go ahead and wrap this thing up for us.
He's probably trending. Just go to like the.
Oh, Exxon responds to a hypothetical fundraising call. All right, so
if I wanted $1 billion. Well,
yep.
man,
So we have, I guess
Trump.
this qualifies as breaking news. So there's our breaking news sound. There we go. So Exxon, during an Arizona campaign rally on Monday, there we go. President Trump told supporters that he could theoretically fundraise more than Democrat rival Joe Biden by calling Wall Street firms and the heads of major energy companies. The president then described a scenario of how a call would unfold with the head of Exxon. Exxon responding, saying, "We are aware of the president's statement regarding the hypothetical call with our CEO, and just so we're all clear, it never happened." So this is making the rounds.
Happened.
I mean, this is making the rounds, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's what happened. You know what they're doing.
Wait a minute. What's Ilhan say? So that we're clear, Exxon didn't donate $25 million to the president, or there was no call with the CEO.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those situations. Like, I mean, I think the lady doth protest too much.
He definitely. Yeah, this is how they do business, man. Like Trump's not.
See, I don't see that Ilhan tweet, but there we go. I see it. Never mind. So let's go to Ilhan really fast. Ilhan Omar. One of the most badass members of Congress. So we're clear, Exxon did not donate $25 million to the president, and there was no call with the CEO.
Didn't she say or? Wasn't she asking a question?
Yeah, or there was no call with the CEO. There we go.
Yeah, so they didn't respond.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Well,
I think that guy Aaron Rupar. I think he tweeted out the clip of Trump saying it.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Let's see, did he?
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. I don't see it.
I mean, I quote tweeted his thing earlier today.
Oh, here we go. All right, I got it.
Yeah,
I got it. Let us go to the video.
Greatest fundraiser in history. All I have to do is call up the head of every Wall Street firm, head of every
He was on fire this
head of
afternoon.
every major energy company. Do me a favor. Send me $10 million for my campaign. Yes, sir. They say the only thing is, why didn't you ask for more, sir? I would take in more money, but you know what? I don't want to do that.
Oh, he
Because
deleted
if I
it.
do that, I'm totally compromised. Because when they call me, you're a loyal person, and what happens is, hey, you'll do things that are a lot more money. So when the press says, and we're raising a lot of money, we're raising a lot of small money, a lot of 61, 62, no Republicans ever done that. But when I start calling, I would be the greatest fundraiser in history. Don't forget, I'm not bad at that stuff anyway, and I'm president. So I call some guy, the head of Exxon. I call the head of Exxon. I don't know, but I'll use a couple. Hi, how you doing? How's energy coming? When are you doing the exploration? Oh, you need a couple of permits, huh? Okay. But I call the head of Exxon. I say, I'd love to send me $25 million for the campaign. Absolutely, sir. Why didn't you ask? Would you like some more? And if I make the call, now people make the call, it's different, but if I made the call,
wow,
I will hit a home run every single call. I would raise $1 billion in one day if I wanted to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it.
He just keeps on
Dude,
delivering, man.
he says that like he's done this before a bunch of times.
Of course he has. They all have.
Why would he do that?
I think he's trying for like radical honesty, right? Like he doesn't know
Radical
what to
honesty.
do.
Oh, this is how it works. You know, I call. I'm the president. I could just call anybody.
That's
They
what
pick
I'm
up my
saying.
call. I'll be
He's
like,
like trying to think of like what he did in 2016, right? So he's trying to like think like, okay, I said that, you know, the military-industrial complex was like, you know, does wars for profit, like just like going through his head, like, and then there's so few things that he can still talk about, right? So he's like trying to like give them something edgy, and that's all he's got, like,
all right.
you know.
So we got a comment here. One of the good things about this administration is the pulling of the veil to reveal how gangster American politics are.
Yeah. Well,
I think it is. I think it's true. You know, the veil has definitely been lifted. You could hide a lot of this bad shit behind Obama's charisma, but you don't have that. It's taking the silk hat off the pig, and you see how ugly American politics can get in terms of the corruption, in terms of imperialism, the carceral state, the military-industrial complex, and so on and so forth.
He's not wrong when he talks about like the liberal media, but like they run
and that's another.
interference.
Yeah, I
like
think
they'll normalize all this shit and try to make it seem like it never happened, and it was just like if anything was at all weird, it was just because Trump was like, you know, evil or whatever. The deep state as it is, you know, whatever that entails, like they're not going to suffer any black eyes from, you know, Trump's time.
No, you're right. But okay, everybody, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up there. Gonna thank everyone for joining us. Thank you for all the comments. We highly encourage those you stop in. Please please go ahead and subscribe. Share out the video for everybody that you would think would be interested to go ahead and see as well. And you can follow the show on Twitter if you're not already at unelectable A. Go ahead and check out our latest podcast. We have that pinned up to our Twitter account. We have that on iTunes under podcasts. You look us up. You can see our whole slate of episodes.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yep. All right, everybody. Yep, we're out then.
Follow me.
You can see.
Follow us on Twitch too.
Yeah, we're on Twitch at DJ Tom Hanks. You see our Twitter handles on the bottom too for each of us.
Yeah, man.
All right.
I'm gonna do that thing tomorrow night on Kenzo's channel.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Later.
Later.